So much about Lent is being transformed. It's about offering ourselves in new ways, not just giving up something, but allowing God to make new a part of us that we haven't been willing to give Him before. And I can't think of some better scripture readings to start out with than the ones that we hear this week. See, because they're about two words, covenant and commitment. So let's talk about covenant first. So we have to understand that a covenant moves beyond a simple promise. But it is an exchange of goods, a willingness for one party to offer something that he has and the other party to offer something back in return. This is how our relationship works with God, and it's the same relationship that we hear about in the first reading when Noah builds the ark. Now, God's reward back to Noah, he doesn't just say, I have a promise for you or I have a great idea. But instead, he says 5 times, I will make a covenant with you and your people and all the creatures of the earth. This is important for us to know because when we make a covenant with God, not only does it bless us, but it extends to the family and those that we love, those that we want to become better for and give the best part of ourselves to. Now, Peter even goes deeper, and he reminds us in the second reading that the world had kind of fallen away from God. So when Noah gets on the boat, only 7 other people join him. So you might be part of a small crowd when you decide to walk the faith walk, but the 8 people that were on that boat were saved from the floodwaters that destroyed what was ugly in the world and what had fallen away from God. Now, if we're looking backward, we would say, well, it probably destroyed a lot of good things in the process, and that was God's creation. But if we're looking forward in a way and in the same manner in which some scholars look, we see the flood as a precursor to baptism. The waters had washed over those that were saved, letting those things that had been made ugly and impure to be set aside so that they would see the hope of a new future. Now, even giving in to the covenant part of this life, we see that we also need to have a commitment. And that's the living example that Jesus gives us in the gospel. Being called into the desert amongst the wild beasts, as scripture says, the angels still walked in his midst. He had given himself up to temptation and the things of this world that could possibly intervene or pull him away from his mission, but he was always willing to see God's messengers and God's angels in the process. And so we too should look at that the same way. This Lent, make a commitment to be transformed, challenge yourself in a new way, and move beyond what's comfortable to do what God has called you to do and to be who God has called you to be.
Before the world knew you, I formed you in your mother's womb. I had a plan for you, a plan to prosper you and not to bring you harm, a plan to lead you home.